able to make a better start. But the green flag now waved at the back of the grid. The 5-second board is shown. Lights are about to go on, which they do. They go out now, and the race gets underway. Good start by Chris Goff, actually, from the inside of the second row of the grid, and he's going to thread his way through that gap and get alongside Peter Bove on the run down to Riches for the first time. So that's Chris Goff in the violet coloured number 2 car, and he does swoop ahead of the orange Derby of Peter Bove as they head into Riches for the first time then in this 15-minute race. Number 8 car you can see going through the STZ Mark 1 of William Smith, but it's the CGR2 Evo that's made the best of the starts. That's Chris Goff then. He's got ahead of Collett, and Peter Bove has gone down to 3rd position ahead of the 2018 and 2019 champion Mark Glover in 4th position.
Yeah, that's right, Ian. We suspect everyone's picked wet tyres for this race. We've had a spin there. That's Simon Bolter, I think, in 6th in the Derby. He should be able to get back going. And it's very close as they come here out of Palmer for the first time of this 15-minute race. There's local driver Richard Jenkins, who I suspect to go well in these conditions, but it's side by side for the lead. Mark Glover slots ahead of Chris Goff down towards Agostini, and Peter Bove tries to get involved as well.
Ollie Collett even taking the lead of the race, yes. So Collett in the number 31 car. That's Glover trying to go around the outside of Chris Goff, because he's going to go from first almost back to 4th in the space of a couple of corners here. Although, because Glover was wide over the curb there, he's had to tuck back in behind Goff. But Collett, now he's got through into the lead. He's gone off like a scalded cat, hasn't he? So he certainly made a move. Glover having another go. That Oggy is down the inside of Chris Goff. And although Goff made a great start to the race, seemingly the handling not all that it might be over the next few corners, and he's losing a little bit of ground now.
Yeah, that's correct. So hopefully our named driver's correct. Leave the rest of this race. There's Chris Goff then, number 2 out of Williams. There's a big puddle on the exit of that corner, so that shows you we did have quite a lot of rain overnight here in Norfolk. But here's Collett, as you say, getting away. Bove in 2nd, Glover 3rd, 4th is Goff, who did lead, as we say. Here's Bove then, the championship leader, turning his way through Brundle. Then Nelson, his car's twitching about those. He tries to put the power on in these small-engined cars, 1108cc Fiat fire-engined machines. All these cars are, but not too much grip, as we know, out there today at this stage. But the track drying all the time. It's just greasy now, really. No spray being kicked up by the cars, despite the puddle, and here and there they're off track. They're in 5th position, a good first lap for Matthew Unwin in 39. He started back on the 6th row of the grid, and Martin Kemp from the back is behind him, so there's been some real changing of positions a little bit further down the order.
Yeah, and Christopher Johnson has sort of pretty much held station, I think. The driver that was on the podium yesterday, I think he's in about 8th place as they come through. But it's Collett leading at the end of lap 1 by around about 4 seconds. Very tight, just going past our camera there. That was Richard Jenkins and Martin Kemp in 6th and 7th positions. Johnson actually gone back a place to 9th, but we're watching Collett there with this 4-second lead at the end of the first lap in his Race Kits Falcon from number 1 Peter Bove in 2nd. He's been the champion from the last 2 seasons and now a 6-time champion altogether after all of his many years racing in 750 Formula. And Mark Glover, the champion in 2018 and 2019, as we said, 2 years before Peter Bove, there in 3rd position. And the gap it's merging now back to Chris Goff in 4th, Matthew Unwin in 5th. And Richard Jenkins, as you say, he's going pretty well. He started where on the grid? Trying to spot him on the grid now.
Row 5.
Row 5 of the grid, right. So he's made a little bit of progress so far.
Just looking back though, Pembroke was a very wet race, much wetter than this. He finished 2nd there in the wet, so he likes these more tricky conditions, and we've seen him already progress past Martin Kemp. Quite a bold move, tight up against the pit wall at the start of that, but for 2nd place, Ian, it's getting closer.
Yeah, Glover's caught the 2nd place man, Peter Bove. He was about 1.3 seconds behind as rain is starting to fall on our commentary box window again, so that's going to change things. Certainly from the drier conditions, and Peter Bove running a little bit wide there on the exit of Williams. I think that might give Mark Glover the opportunity to really pick up the toe as they head down the Bentley Straight towards Brundle and Nelson. There you can see him jinking, looking initially to the right-hand side of the circuit, then the left-hand side of the circuit, which would give him the inside line for Brundle. No concern though for Oliver Collett, who's still then looking for his first proper win of the season after his disappointment yesterday. There in the background you can see Glover and Bove were side by side, and they're still side by side now as they're heading towards the bomb hole. We'll probably just see them flash through shot. No, we don't quite see them flash through shot because they are a few seconds behind the leader Collett. We're just going to try and pick up the next two, and Glover has gone through now, so he's sealed that move at the bomb hole really. They're heading through Coram. It's Glover now number 4 up into 2nd position, and Peter Bove number 1 down to 3rd.
And just behind them, it's side by side as well. If we look in the background, with there's contact actually between Chris Goff and Richard Jenkins. He goes for a full 360, almost caught it but didn't quite.
And then 180 the other way again, so he's now pointing in the wrong direction. Hopefully everyone will manage to avoid him. He gets off the circuit. Let's just hope he doesn't become beached on the curb there. So that's a great shame for Richard Jenkins, who was looking to make up places. He now dropped pretty much down to the back end of the top 10, I think.
Yeah, he was going around the outside of Chris Goff, which I thought was pretty bold around Coram anyway, so whether he lost it and then they sort of come into contact when they come into our shot. But that sort of held up Chris Goff, and obviously Richard Jenkins lost a number of positions.
Ollie Collett then, on the first flying lap, did the best lap of the race at 2:29.23. That's about 16 seconds off the lap time that Christopher Johnson did yesterday. He set the fastest lap in yesterday's race. So that shows you how difficult the conditions are today with a lack of grip there. That's Alan Bunter in the Shark, number 28, the printer from Yeovil, and he has behind him Simon Bolter, who I think we said had that spin on the opening lap, didn't he? So he's trying to come back. They're currently fighting for 14th and 15th position. And another driver on the comeback mission then is Richard Jenkins, who crossed the line 11th at the end of lap 2.
Looks pretty grim down that end of the circuit, doesn't it? Down at Wilson on our camera shot. Then here, the next camera at Palmer, it's sort of drier again. So I think down there at Wilson, perhaps that's where the rain is arriving first, and that's actually caught out one of the drivers, number 70, Martin Depper, who's came into 750 Formula this year from being having lots of success in the historic series in the past. But he's had a spin down there at Wilson, where the rain is arriving first, it would seem.
I've been told off by Lisa Palmer. Bob Thompson's not retired. I've not seen him yet this season.
He suggested in that interview to me that he might do one more, didn't he?
Yes, that's right.
At Cadwell Park,
You're
and that might be the last one then. But
it's good to know we're being watched anyway, Josh. So Ollie Collett heading up towards the Brundle-Nelson complex. Now I wonder if Martin Kemp's going to be Mark Glover even is going to catch him this time.
But what happened to Peter Bove? He was only a second behind Glover at the start. So that means miles behind now. There he is, Peter Bove.
Has he had a little spin or a little off, possibly off camera?
Or is he just making sure he gets the points?
Well, he's lapping still several seconds a lap faster. He's 9 seconds ahead of Chris Goff at the start of the lap, so he wants to perhaps just make sure he can bring the car home in 3rd position in these difficult conditions, in the sense that you don't want to push harder than you need to, really. And if he's happy that he can still come home for 3rd in these positions.
The other fault here, Ian, is probably most of these drivers only bought one set of wet tyres.
Yes.
It's not that wet on the track. You don't want to destroy the wets in this race, although Peter Bove had a bit of a moment there. And you could, I reckon in these conditions, you could damage your wet tyres, so then if we have a proper wet race later today, which is
He was only 2 seconds slower than his previous lap, because he's moved up to 5th place now in the number 17 PRS, which is on screen now. That's the car that David Bartholomew took to the 2015 championship title. Alan Bunter's just had a spin at Murray's, but he's recovering.
Yeah, look at the weather away from. It's not really raining here where we are.
It's really just that corner, isn't it? Sort of the Wilson and Williams corner of the circuit. It seems to be really wet.
Yeah, well, it's only a few hundred metres away from here, but it's certainly not so nice conditions on the other side of the circuit, and that's where the time is to be found or lost, I suppose, by the competitors out there. So you mentioned Richard Rothery going well, so he's catching Chris Goff now for what is 4th position, and they're heading down towards Agostini, and they're pretty much together now. Then with Matthew Unwin and Martin Kemp had that really good first lap. He hasn't really made any more progress. Richard Jenkins has been in the pits after that off earlier. He's going back out though onto the circuit.
Yes, so he's gone to the back of the field now, 15th and final position here. So watching Chris Goff and Richard Rothery. Now there was 2 seconds between them at the start of the lap. There's only about 2 car lengths between them now as they're about halfway around the lap at Oggies, and got some quite wide lines being taken, almost dare I say karting lines possibly being taken to try and find the grip. There is Glover in 2nd place, and there is Bove. Now there was about 5.5 seconds between them at the start of the lap. How are we doing for time? 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes into this race, and it therefore is 5 laps to go. So they'll probably get 2 more laps.
Yeah,
I would think,
probably be six lap race.
Yeah.
Here's Collett out of Murray's, and then a gap back to Glover, who, if anything, Peter Bove is closing in, maybe, possibly not. Let's see what the lap times are at the end of that, but certainly Oliver Collett is going away out front. There I can see Richard Rothery has got himself ahead of Chris Goff, hasn't he, into that 4th position. And we'll see if he's able to pull away. Now he's ahead. You know, the lap times are better again because Oliver Collett's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 2 minutes 29.15. So it was just that one lap really where it rained on the other side of the circuit.
Yeah. And Peter Bove just did his personal best lap as well, a 2:30.95. He was more than 2 seconds faster than Mark Glover that time. Here the fight is on for 6th and 7th, and this is Martin Kemp trying to get back ahead of the 39 car of Matthew Unwin. And it's Unwin and Kemp in that order as they go across the line. That's for 6th and 7th positions.
Conway Dorr is one of the fastest drivers on the circuit in 8th position. He's just on a 2 minutes 32. That's quicker than Mark Glover, who's in 2nd. That's
in the ex-Dave Robson star that he's acquired and is racing this season.
Yeah, he went well back at Silverstone, where he got a 3rd and a 4th place finishes there in what were dry conditions.
So there is Chris Goff, now behind Richard Rothery, because Rothery did a 2:32.7 on that lap. He was more than 2 seconds faster than Goff. He's back down to 5th position. I don't think he's quite. I suppose he could be caught by Conway Dorr by the end, just about. Dorr might make up a couple of more positions before the end here. He's got to catch Kemp and Unwin first, though. As we watch the 17 car turn in. That's the PRS of Richard Rothery, the driver from Reading.
Peter Bove nearly caught Mark Glover on this lap, just still going out onto the Bentley straight. That gap's not that much now compared to what it once was. Here's Chris Goff, he's there in 5th position. He had a good season last year, finishing 2nd in the championship. This year's not gone quite so well for him so far. Still currently 5th in the championship after a couple of podiums. Oliver Collett, though, he's well out in front, 12.5 seconds after 4 laps, and he turns his way towards the end of lap 5, with just 1 lap to go. We think at the end of this one.
The last lap board is being prepared beneath us here in the commentary box, so I think Collett will see that last lap board very shortly and go on to his final lap of the race. I think if he can bring this home, I think he'll be much happier with this result than yesterday, because he was a little bit sheepish perhaps after the incident with Peter Bove in yesterday's race, and he did subsequently get a penalty for that. So here I think from what we've seen it's been a good clean race.
Big spin for the championship leader Peter Bove down at Murray's. He's rotated the car. There he is on the Alpha Live pictures and trying to get going. He's beached the car, has he? Here he is.
Yeah, it's the wing, the front wing of the Derby sort of dug into the ground because of a dip in the...
It's broken it.
It's broken the front wing, and so is he going to be able to get that car home without any further damage? You can hear it dragging on the tarmac now as he rejoins, just ahead of Richard Rothery.
What's the likelihood of being a spare part here ready for the last race?
And so he's now lost that position to Rothery, so Rothery's going to have gone up into 3rd position. So both actually until that hadn't lost a position with that incident.
And Oliver Collett's on a 2:24 now, so we're not huge amounts away from yesterday's dry pace, considering the cars were on wet tyres.
Yeah, 2:13 yesterday, the fastest lap. And Conway Dorr did a 2:28 that time, so he's pretty much with Matthew Unwin now. He's got ahead of Martin Kemp, so just try and keep an eye on that battle as well. That's the number 6 car for Simon Bolton, so he's made his way back to 11th after he was had a spin on the first lap. I think probably most of the drivers behind him have now had those issues of their own, incidents or whatever. There's Bove, and yep, you can hear that, can't you, on the effects mic, the front wing just rubbing onto the ground there. He's already lost the position to Rothery. I wonder if Chris Goff will be able to get back through as a result of that. Meanwhile, just pulling onto the Bentley straight for the final time is the race leader, number 31, Oliver Collett.
Yeah, that's right. Win number 50 is a bit difficult to come by, isn't it, for Peter Bove? It's cursed so far, it would seem, with problems in both of these races at Snetterton. But for Ollie Collett, well, this has all gone very well indeed. He's been pulled away early on and then just driven away from everybody in fantastic form. This is what we thought might happen at some point this year. He was really quick at Silverstone. Pembroke wasn't so good. He was quick again yesterday, but we know what happened there. But this has been faultless, I think. He set a lap of 2 minutes 24 on the previous lap, 14 seconds ahead of Mark Glover, and he turned through Murray's for the final time.
Yeah, and he's looking a little bit happy with himself this time, isn't he, as he comes out of the final corner at Murray's onto the centre straight. Checkered flag is made ready. Yeah, he's got his hand out of the cockpit already. Yes, much happier Oliver Collett today. That's really great to see. Very pleased to get that win under his belt, and it's been a dominant performance as well, as Josh said.
Where's Mark Glover?
Mark Glover is
here
now. Yes, he's coming through in second position.
And Peter Bowie's getting third position back around the outside of Richard Rothery, damage or not. He's trying to come through. He breaks really late into Murray, so this is where he went off a lap ago.
And they're going to be side by side out of the corner. It's Richard Rothery that's got back ahead on the exit. And the snowplough behind him is going to try and find a way through, but no, I think he's going to fail to do so. So Richard Rothery then getting a podium. That's his third podium of the season, I think, in the PRS. Peter Bove this time taking fourth position, although he did his best lap of the race on the final lap. Chris Goff takes fifth. Conway Dorr did get up to sixth place in the end, so that's a good result for Conway Dorr as well, making his way through the field. Matthew Unwin in seventh, and then the Martin Kemp car is yet to come through. It's about to come through. Here he is to take eighth place, number 42. And Christopher Johnson just loses out on the line, actually, to Hugh Davis in the number 21 Phoenix Fire. So Hugh Davis takes the position, and still battles to be resolved here as well, Josh.
Yeah, because we just saw Alan Bunter go down the inside of Simon Bowles for another driver who's come through from the historic championship. Peter Bove spun on the way back to Parc Ferme, has he? That's not going to go down too well, I shouldn't think. But for 11th position, Simon Bolter got that position back ahead of Alan Bunter. And then William Smith, Martin Depp and Richard Jenkins should all take the flag.
Yes, so that was certainly a very entertaining race, although the victory margin for Oliver Collett, more than 16 seconds, doesn't suggest that's the case. In the number 31 car, Mark Glover, second number 4, third number 17, Richard Rothery, just fending off Peter Bove over the line by about 4/10 of a second. And Chris Goff, who started the race so well, led into the first corner, but soon was shuffled back. He took fifth place in car number 2, and Conway Dorr in number 12 completed the top 6.
I think that'll be 7 points clawed back by Ollie Collett, down to 13 points, the championship lead going into the third race of the weekend. First time 754 has had 3 races in a weekend. That's happening here this weekend at Snetterton, so we'll see these cars again today.
We certainly will. 2 more races to come before the lunch break. The Demons Week's Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship in just a few moments' time, and then we will have the Martins Group Formula V Championship, our final single-seater action of the weekend. Let's head down to Parc Ferme once again. Kieran McKinley.
Yes, I'm here now with our top 3 of that last race, and I'm here with our race winner in Oliver Collett. Ollie, much happier this time around. There's a smile on your face with that victory. How are you feeling?
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, it was a bitter pill to swallow yesterday, and yeah, it took some sort of recovering from, and yeah, it's just amazing to bounce back like that. It feels mega.
And of course, it's still tricky conditions out there, so how did you face that? What tyres, what setup did you plan?
Yeah, we didn't mess with the setup in the end. Went wets to start with, and then it looked like it was drying out, so yeah, put the slicks on, and yeah, it was definitely the right call.
Definitely the right call. One more race to go then. What are you thinking for the last one?
Oh, more of the same would be great. You know, yeah, just got to say, same as yesterday. You know, my dad's worked so hard to put this car together. We've had a lot of issues, and yeah, it's awesome to have something to show for it now. Really cool.
Well, great stuff. Congratulations on the victory, Ollie, and good luck for race number 3 later today.
Thank you very much.
Let's have a chat and see if I can find our second place driver in Mark Glover. Mark, second place for you today in treacherous conditions. What did you make of it out there?
It started off all right, and then it got a bit slippy about 5 minutes in when it started raining again. And so it made it awkward for about 2 or 3 laps. And then it started to dry up again.
Yeah, we got reports of rain just on the first 2 corners. So how did that sort of affect your race?
Well, it was actually through the infield as well. So it just made it a bit more tricky, really, and you just need to judge where the grip was. And you don't get many laps here to correct any mistakes that you make either.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on second place, and well, we'll see you in later on.
Thank you.
And with that, unfortunately, we're out of time. So we're going to head down for our next race, which is the Demon Tweaks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship.